Oh, here we are again now, and it's like no time has passed. Gazing out upon the sunset as it sinks into the night. Many times it seemed as though a given day might be our last. Face to face with certain death, it's somehow coming out alright. I don't think that we have any cause to lament, but there's quite a lot of thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent.
You sit in the most romantic area of all the Underpoint, a single tarp laid down so your butts don't get dirty. That's it. That's all you got. I'm sorry. This place is bad.
Well, Fury, I found the best looking place in all of Freeark.
Freeark as a whole is very beautiful. Just the Underpoint tends to be,
like this.
I don't like it here.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
There are beautiful spanning snowy vistas, wonderful, horrible salt flats full of terrifying creatures. There are areas choked by frost where the ivy will form intricate constructions, long since dead, but still that persist in the world. She's like, same glittery eyes looking into the distance. It seems that while she mostly has an interest in monsters, it seems settings, habitats, etc. are not entirely outside of her area of interest. She seems to actually rather like Freeark, and something clicks in your head. Mm-hmm. Inian and Harlock, they talk about how fucking terrible this place is and how all of the natural predators will consume and devour you alive. You remember Fury arm deep in a beast, and you remember, she's probably into horrifying monsters.
That makes sense.
So, like, your immediate good date senses fire up, and you know, unlike all of the last few places that you've been to Alaran, to Honorant, where you're like, man, fuck this place. You're like, no, maybe not a good idea here.
I get it.
To roll for good date senses.
Yeah, GM giving date advice.
That's your freebie. She would be heartbroken, and I don't want to do that to you.
Though my good date senses do tingle, I come to the realization that Fury loves monsters, and I can't help but hear my brain echoing that's the only reason that she's interested in me.
Oh, you are a monster.
You're our monster.
I kick off my shoes and like put my feet into the mud water.
It's freezing.
It's like, okay, so the water isn't muddy at all, because it's so cold that all of the mud has sort of coagulated to the sides and bottom, covered in a thin layer of frost. That's a good thing. The bad side is that it's so cold that all the mud is sort of stuck to the sides and bottom.
All right.
So you stick your feet in, and Ash, you like. Normally, a normal person would be like, oh, God! Like, Marcus would take 20 points of damage and die instantly. You, on the other hand, you've grown up on an island environment that was definitely a paradise, but you've been on fishing trips where you've, like, dove into the frigid, deep ocean. It reminds you of that, and, like, it gives you a start, but like, cold water, that's something you can actually handle. You're one of the few people that absolutely can. Fury smiles at you, seeing you almost like get a reminiscent look in your eyes, and she starts to kick off her own boots too.
I take a couple chomps out of my food and say, so you seem awfully versed about Freeark. Is that something you studied? Is that where you studied monsters? What, are you self-taught? Like,
oh, I'm actually from here.
There it is.
From the water. It's like, and just looks at you with wide eyes like, you played that off like it wasn't a thing.
It ain't a thing, right? Are your feet cold?
I mean, yeah, the one is.
Here, I got like a little blanket in my backpack. Here, hold on. I'll wrap you up.
I've got another tarp.
Fury immediately bundles under the blanket and continues like she's in full caterpillar mode at this point and like has a plate of spaghetti balanced on her lap and is just like wrapped up arm peeking out, putting spaghetti to mouth occasionally. She looks ludicrous.
Hat on top of the blanket.
Hat on top of this. Like, she looks ludicrous. Ash, your heart is
Destroyingly
warmed.
cute. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she continues chomping away. So, yeah, no, I'm actually from around here.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know that. Wait, so I always hear people talking about how like brutal Frearch is. Like,
yeah, it's pretty intense.
How did you have family who helped you survive?
She like tips her head to the side a little bit. Well, okay, so I think you might have heard that Frearch's winter gets closer and closer every year to the south, right? Like it's slowly taking them over?
Yeah. Yes.
I was from a town that was overtaken by winter, when I was about like 2 or 3. So most of the people in my town unfortunately starved.
Oh,
she continues
like,
eating.
Did you have like parents or anything?
Yeah. Well, my dad died pretty early, because he starved. Oh, it's okay. I didn't know him. But my mom actually brought me up for most of my life until she too succumbed to the cold. Fury continues to eat.
Can I give you a hug?
Of course, anytime.
Nice.
That's why we're dating, she says and smiles.
Nice. I give Fury a hug.
This trauma I've had some time to actually get over and work through, so that's okay. Really, it was like at a certain point when everything gets so bad that everyone's just desperately trying to get food, everyone in your village just becomes a big family, you know?
Well, that's good that you like worked together.
She blinks a few times. Oh, and now to answer the easy question that everybody asks. No, we did not turn into cannibals. She's taking a bite of the spaghetti.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't going to ask that. Besides, I figure something like that's your business.
Okay, I've been asked that a lot.
Seems a little insensitive, but yeah, I get it. For the record, I'd eat somebody.
It was a pretty tough and confusing time, mostly because we didn't know, like, less emotionally confusing and more physically, because the blizzard wrapped us in such a way that space stopped making sense, like it does in Frearch. Chomp, chomp.
I gathered. Also, like, Fury, if you don't want to talk about this, like, just let me know. We don't have to talk about it. Like, it's totally okay.
We can do a part 2 a little bit down the line, but I feel like I'm on a roll. There are 2 parts to my incredibly sordid tale.
All right. You only have to share as much as you want to share, and don't push yourself.
I'm willing to share however much you're willing to listen to. You're a good listener, Ash. You don't judge or ask me if I'm a cannibal.
I really try. Thank you.
I feel like everybody from Frearch would just tell you everything if you just asked.
So, yeah, that lasted for a while, pretty much into, like, adolescence or early adulthood, when our town it wasn't viable anymore, and we had to take a risk, braving the blizzard. Sometimes travelers would come through, and, sometimes they'd leave and we'd find them dead in the wastes, or other times they'd leave and we'd never find them, which is the scarier option, because, you know, they can come back as something worse. Takes another bite of spaghetti.
Oh, wow, so you'd almost really rather find them dead.
Yeah, so we decided we'd head out and just try to find something or anyone. That turned out to be a mistake because we only went further north.
Oh.
Chomp.
It's so I like scoot closer to Fury so that like our legs are touching. So you said that like the winter keeps coming further south. Is there something causing it? Like what is it? Is it just bad weather? Like what's the deal?
If there's something causing it, then it is too big for anyone to do anything about. Takes another bite.
Bigger than Crowhenge.
Probably.
Oof.
There are plenty of things that are bigger than Crowhenge.
What?
But we wandered to the north, and that's where, unfortunately, the rest of my village, succumbed to the cold.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
because that's where I found, well, I guess you could call them my guardian. Somebody who started watching over me from then on.
Is that how you can do
Smiles again.
the?
Fervently nods excited. I knew you'd get it. Like, you've got a similar electric noise vibe.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that. She grins and smiles and then throws the caterpillar open and, like, throws it around your shoulder and pulls you close.
Nice.
That's a really encouraging thing to know. It's like, it's so hard to explain and somebody else just gets it, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. So you just found it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Did it have a name? Did it have a presence?
Of course. Gregor, you wake up and your head's still ringing a bit, but like it almost feels like you've gained some level of stability. It feels like the world is right again, but all the colors seem more vivid, more vibrant. You wander around across the like the ground. You wander through the red light district. People like opening their mouths and talking to you, and the words seem to resonate. You talk to, what was his name? Something.
People.
Peepaw calls out to you. You hear a rat screech, but like you wander. It's weird. It feels like you're hearing them, but none of the words are finding teeth in your mind. Nothing's sticking. You wander through the district and back to the Underpoint. Actually, you wander over and you see immediately in front of you. You take some steps out and like you're still feeling a little odd. The colors feel weirdly intense. First up, you see Harlock and Astra wandering past, chattering about something, and like
important high-powered businesswoman things.
They're actually cracking very, very bad jokes at each other and really enjoying each other's company.
But no one would ever be able to tell.
Yeah,
you would not be able to tell. Like, but yeah, no, they're smiling and like, yeah, no, it's clear that they're having a good time. But as they sort of come towards you, it's almost like your perceptions changed a little bit recently. Like Astra raises her hand in greeting to you, but ever since you assume that new stance, you took this same shape as the Ashen Knight, it feels like your muscles have been looser, and that includes whatever, if the brain is in its own way a muscle, that's felt looser too? And as your eyes appraise Harlock, you see someone who is clearly warped by magic and just badly burned by it, but still someone very, very rooted in this world. Your friend, you don't know if she considers you a friend, but your friend, Harlock. And you feel a sense of warmth and familiarity there. But with Astra in front of you, you see someone who has touched or encountered something else, something bigger, and it's weird. It almost feels like you can get a grasp of every, like, almost like the way her flesh knits together. It feels like there's something else knitted in. It's not something that you saw in any of the other and for a second it sends your stomach churning. Your forehead breaks out in a cold sweat, but then you realize, no, this is Astra, actually. Whatever it is has been completely killed. Whatever it is has been completely suppressed and added to who she is. You feel suddenly calm, and like your stomach isn't twisting anymore. More than anybody else, Astra actually gives you a feeling of comfort. They wave to you and pass you by. You're still in a daze, a borderline a trance.
Don't do things you don't understand.
Yeah, definitely don't say anything.
Then you take a step forward and you look at Ash and Fury, two of your dearest friends sitting on this dock in front of you, and your eyes fixate on Ash, and you suddenly feel weight, something immensely heavy. something that your mind can't properly wrap itself around. A great creature the size of a mountain, and in a flash, your body freezes once again. It feels like when you encountered the Ashen Knight, that same weight, that same pressure. But you take a deeper look at Ash, her face turned away, her smile beaming, lighting up this dark cave. She's with her girlfriend. She's so happy right now. And you realize that thing that's asleep, Ash has worked so hard to overcome it. She has tried every single day, and you've helped her get to this point. It's asleep, it's calm, it's dormant, and once again, your senses, which are fucking fried at this point, individual parts of your brain popping and sizzling, you realize it's going to be okay, because it's Ash. You know that she has control over this. And finally, your eyes lock on Fury. Her face similarly beaming back on Ash. And for a second, you get that same sensation as when you stared at Ash. The same connection to something bigger and greater. You feel it deeper than anything else you felt before. This isn't a spirit folk. None of this is a spirit folk. This is something more. This is something bigger and more horrifying. It's awake, and Gregor, it's looking at you.
And why is everything scary looking at me?
And for half of an instant, you see it.
Oh,
Holy shit!